welcome to today's Q&A. Hey, you guys, thanks for joining me today. Appreciate it. Hope you guys are all having a wonderful Tuesday. Early afternoon for some of you, morning still for others, right? I'm out of Montana, so it's still morning. Welcome to today's Q&A. My name is Jessie. I'm here with Treasure with trucking and all trucking jobs, answers, questions, all that good stuff. So we're going to go ahead and answer some questions here for you to see what kind of treasures we can come up with. So, all right, welcome to Decker Truck Line Q&A. First of all, I do want to give you guys a heads up that there is an East 14th Street exit closure for the month. So until November, we expect there to be a closure. The westbound 80 and 35 exit near Des Moines shop, or near our Des Moines shop, is expected to be closed until the 17th of November. So yeah, a month. Hello from Fort Dodge. Awesome. Look at this. I have like new emojis here on my side, Katie. How cool is that? All right. We found out that the most truck-friendly route to get to our Des Moines shop, for those of you wondering, is for any westbound I-80 traffic is to take the next exit, the I-35 to the Corporate Woods Drive, and then get to our shop basically the back way. That's the basically new way. Yeah, me too. I like it. All right, so any southbound I-35 traffic, you're going to need to also take this exit. So if you have any questions, please reach out to us. Actually, you can go ahead and check out our Facebook page. I had to repost it because I forgot the map. But there is a detour in the Des Moines area. So we do suggest, or we've been advised to take that second exit for westbound 80, 35, go to the 35 near Des Moines. Go the back way to the terminal or to the shop. Cool? All right, so welcome to today's Q&A. You guys, if you have any questions, that's what the chat is all about. Our new little chat. It's absolutely gorgeous. We've got fun little funky icons or emojis, and we can add to that. So again, if you have any questions, please reach out to us. Yeah. Okay, we do have some changes in one of our hiring areas as well. It's on Friday. Excellent. Okay. Yeah, sounds great. So we'll have some changes for the hiring map as well for our over the road and home every 7 days. So out 7 days at a time and home for 2. So we'll share that as well. If you have any questions, reach out to our recruiting department, and that telephone number right here is 877-433-2537 for more details. But if you have questions about a specific area that you want answered right now here on the live, then you just put your zip code or your city and state into the chat so that we can open that up. All right. Okay, have a great day. Let's get ready to rock and roll. Let's talk about some of the amenities in the truck right out of the gate, because those are the questions I get asked most. And you've probably seen some of our videos coming across YouTube. Check them out, share them. We absolutely love them. A great job done by Paul in the video department, and video and photography does a very good job. So like to share those, take a look at them. Kind of gives you a back history of what the company is all about, kind of a driver's side view as well of what it's about. So if you have questions as to, why are you here at Decker? Why have you been here at Decker for so long? Because a lot of our drivers have been here, 15 plus years, and you see that more and more. And if you look at the truck, you'll see those plaques with them saying how long they've been here. How many years earned, how many miles. If they're 1 million mile runners, or if they've hit milestones like that, you see those on the side of the truck as well, which is pretty cool. But the most recent interview, Todd Overson, who was one of our in the last couple of years, he's one of our grand champions. So for 2021, right? 2021, yeah. I'm trying to think which one Tom was. Tom Melton, our most recent grand champion as well. But anyways, if you have questions, please put them in the chat. We'll answer them because our hiring areas do change on a regular basis based off of availability. Speaking of based off of availability, the equipment that we have available for new hires is also based off of availability, because even though we have Volvos, we have Freightliners, and we have Peterbilts, the majority of our trucks by far are the 579 Peterbilts. And if you come aboard and you're looking for a specific make and model, just know that we can't guarantee that because those change on a regular basis. What we can guarantee you is top quality equipment that's very well maintained. We have mostly the 579s, like I said, and they come equipped, all of our trucks come equipped with APUs, refrigerators, microwaves, CB units, TVs with Epic View satellite television programming, 100 plus channels. Yes, we have the Sunday ticket. Yes, we have HBO, Cinemax, Showtime. You guys, if you're wondering, if you're having any issues with the satellite, with the DirecTV, you might need to reboot the TV. The only reason I say that is because we did have somebody ask in the Facebook group over the weekend whether or not we still had it. All you needed to do was just reboot it, and sometimes, just like any other electronic, sometimes you just got to restart it. Rebooting is unplugging everything, turning it all the way off, which, by the way, you should be doing with your TransFlow and your cell phone on a regular basis, just like any other electronics. I probably need to preach to myself on that more than anything. So if you're not doing it, make sure that you are taking care of the equipment or the electronics for the long haul. Restart it, reboot that sucker. But anyways, it will recalibrate, and it'll also bring up those local channels as well if you scan it. Because I know a lot of you, when it comes to some of your sports, they're not always on ESPN or the Sunday ticket. Some of them are on those local channels, especially if you're coming into that area. So make sure that you do that. But yes, the trucks come fully equipped. They are double bunk trucks. They have, I think I mentioned the APU and the refrigerator and the microwave, the CB unit. They do have both the driver side and the passenger side are air ride seats, so we do allow passengers, of course, ages 10 on up, and it's $25 a month for the passenger to ride. We also have a dog policy. The dog policy is a $500 deposit. Half of that is refundable, and with the dog policy, you must have a non-aggressive dog. So non-aggressive dogs and 85 pounds or less for the dog policy, 85 pounds or less. You can have two dogs actually, up to 60 pounds combined, but again, still non-aggressive breeds and no more than the 60 pounds, 80 pounds for the one dog. So yeah, you've got some room there. And of course, like I said, the equipment is newer model. You're looking at, I think the oldest truck right now that we have is a 2020. I believe, maybe a 2021, but they are newer model trucks. We do like to keep them on a short rotation so that we can assure that they are the most top up-to-date equipment that's out there for you. With our trailers, we also keep top-of-the-line trailers as well as the trucks, so not just. Now those are going to be on about a 3.5 average cycle versus year cycle, 3.5 year cycle versus an 16 to 18 month like our trucks are. So the average is about 16 to 18 months for the truck and about 3 years for the trailers. So that means the trailers probably get to, some of them are 5-6 years old. But yeah, they're newer as well. And the oldest truck, I think, like I said, I think it's 2020, maybe 2021. Trying to think where we're at on the rotation. But yes, definitely newer model. I know that some of you are seeing those 389s. Those are for our established, our veteran drivers who've been here 15 plus years. They get to spec the trucks. So there's a perk, longevity, there's a perk. Not only are we going to take care of you for the long run, we also take care of you when it comes to the equipment. And you get to do some of the specs on the truck. That being said, the 389s, they are not as big as the 579s. You definitely have more room in the 579s. You don't have as much of the, it's just a different look. It's just a different look. It's more more chrome. To me, it's more chrome. Anyways, a different type of truck. Then we also have Volvos. We have some 860s, we have some 780s, and the 740s are more for the flatbed division. So we have those as well. And then we have a few Freightliner Cascadia Evolutions. But again, I do want to remind you that it's based off of availability. Please know that if you are speaking to one of the recruiters and they're giving you details on the truck, or if you're watching some of our videos on the Volvo or the Freightliner or the Peterbilt, that the availability of the truck is going to change from week to week. So just because that's your preference or that's the one that you're watching, please know we will do our best to accommodate, but we wouldn't be able to guarantee, like a Volvo or Freightliner necessarily. But the 579 Pete's probably. Yeah, 90+%, 95 maybe, of our trucks are Pete's. And all right, so we have some refrigerated units, and we have some flatbed currently available. So we've got those. If you're wondering about availability, like I said, just go ahead and shoot your zip code in here, and we'll take a look. So Branko says, where are you at? 37923. 923. Let's see. We do have flatbed out of there, which would get you home about every other weekend, approximately. So that's out of the Knoxville, Tennessee area. You run mostly going to, you'd probably go as far as the Midwest. There's going to be quite a bit of freight within the Midwest there. You'll see a lot of Iowa and Illinois, but definitely Texas to the Carolinas. That's going to be real heavy for freight for you. Up into the Pennsylvania area, Pittsburgh, the Kentucky, but Tennessee is going to be busy from Memphis, Nashville, Knoxville. Those are going to be very busy areas for us, getting you home about every other weekend. So you'll probably come home on like a Friday night or a Saturday morning and then leave back out either Sunday night or Monday morning, making sure that you've got at least your 2 days of home time. And yeah, when it comes to flatbed, you are tarping and securing the loads. Some of them are pre-tarped, but of course you'll want to make sure that they are secured properly and everything for each load that you're taking. And if you have questions, if you don't have flatbed experience, you need to have a minimum of 1 year of tractor trailer experience in order to qualify for that particular position. That's the over-the-road flatbed division that is actually based out of Bessemer, Alabama. You'll still come up to Fort Dodge, Iowa for orientation, which is a 3-day orientation for an experienced driver. It's a full week if you have no experience, but again, for this specific position, you are required to have at least 1 year of tractor trailer experience. Then we can teach you flatbed. We can do the tarp training and the securement training. If you don't have a year of tractor trailer experience, but you have 6 months of flatbed experience, that also works, as long as it's flatbed specific. And then we can bring you in again for orientation. It's a 3-day orientation in that case. If you don't have the 6 months of flatbed experience or the year of tractor trailer experience, and you're looking for the over-the-road flatbed out of Bessemer, Alabama, then you will have to obtain one or the other prior to coming aboard to Decker. Now, if you live in the Midwest, it's a little different story when it comes to flatbed than our over-the-road out of Bessemer. Fort Dodge, Iowa is our main hub, so we're right there, and that way we can secure and tarp train a little bit easier if you need further training. We do the full training following orientation as well, which is a series of demonstrating how to tarp and secure. There's, of course, many videos out there as well as a training course, and then you'll go walk through it as well. So you'll do step by step. This is how you do it. Then you'll do it, and then you follow up with a few more tries on that particular load, because we'll do different style loads because they're different type of tarping, different type of securement. So steel loads and coils are going to be tarped and secured quite a bit different than sheetrock. So they're all a little bit different. We want to show you as many scenarios that we can in that amount of time. Obviously, you won't see all scenarios, so feel free to reach out to any of our drivers or or our training department if you have questions on how to tarp or secure a particular load, because you can't predict every load, but definitely want to make sure that you are educated and prepared for anything that comes at you, right? Yeah. Branko says was hoping for refrigerated. Yeah, let me double check here, but let me see. Is this refrigerated? I'll show you my refrigerated division here. Yeah, Knoxville is just a little ways out of our reefer hiring area. Here you go. So this is our refrigerated hiring area. The yellow is all running, the running lanes. So you pretty much, anywhere. We don't do a ton of the New England states or New York City. Up there, that's not really an area we run a whole lot of. You can see just south of Buffalo, there's some ice cone loads that go into there. So we run into some of those areas. But the red is really the area that you want to be looking at for hiring. And yeah, Knoxville is just not one of those. So sorry about that. But yeah, we do have Nashville is a good area for us. Memphis is fantastic. But it kind of gives you an idea of where we can hire from. Now, the different areas do offer different home times around the Iowa. There are parts of Iowa and Illinois and Indiana. We can get you home on a weekly basis, like every 5 days, and then home for 2 days. In the Dallas-Fort Worth area, or what's another example? Dallas, Fort Worth, Bessemer to Atlanta, we can get you home every 7 days, home for 2 days. In all of the area that you see, we can get you home every 3 weeks and then home for 3 or 4 days as well. So yeah, we figure for every 7 days you're out, we can get you home for a day and a half. So for every 7 days, it's a day and a half. Figure that. All right. Good question, Branko. Thank you for that. But yeah, so then we also have our that's our flatbed division that we were referring to earlier. The map that I was showing you is the refrigerated map. Do I have my flatbed map handy? Here, this kind of gives you an idea. So with my flatbed, again, yellow is more of the running area for flatbed, and the red is more of the hiring area for flatbed. But that does change, like I said, on a regular basis. We just changed the refrigerated last night. So if you're seeing, the one that I showed you is accurate, but it gives you an idea of what to expect for running lanes and a possible available home time, things like that. But again, every area is a little bit different. In the map that you're seeing up here, we can get you home at least every other weekend. In the Iowa area, like the top, lose my finger once I start pointing, but up here in Iowa, Illinois, Indiana, we can get you home on a weekly basis there, and we guarantee a minimum of $14.50 a week. So $14.50 a week minimum for that area. It is a smaller area. It is home weekly. In that area, you're going to be running a lot of shorter runs. There is going to be some downtime. So yes, I recognize that there'll be some waiting, but that's why we've cushioned it to at least $14.50 a week for the minimum. Now, speaking of the minimum, let's talk about that. For minimum pay, you must be available for dispatch at least 5 days out of the week. Okay, and with flatbed really doesn't run on the weekend. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. There we go. How many days do I have? 5 days out of the week you need to be running, and those Monday through Friday obviously is going to be within that realm. You need to be available for dispatch at least 5 days out of the week. No load refusals, so no driver service failures, meaning no late loads that would fall back on the driver. And we have no CSA violations, no tickets or moving violations, and then of course no preventable accidents. That's the 5th requirement. No preventable accidents. Backing, if it's a DOT recordable, then that would disqualify you for sure. But that's on a week-to-week basis. We also need to make sure that you get your paperwork in on time. So there's just 6 requirements in order to qualify for that minimum pay each and every week. But of course, if your rate of pay per mile and the miles that you ran exceed that, then you'll get the better of the two. That's what that safety net or minimum pay, whatever you want to call that, that is there to protect you, to make sure that you can help budget from week to week. But you're going to make the better of the two, which is usually your miles and your rate of pay. So with the flatbed, it's a little bit, with that 1450 flatbed, it is a little bit different because they are shorter runs, and we've had it for that reason. Again, orientation is in Fort Dodge, Iowa. It's a 3-day orientation. If you don't have flatbed experience and this is a position that you're looking for, then we would need to get you trained in flatbed. That's going to be a full week orientation instead of just the 3 days of orientation. And orientation pays you $500 for completing that. As an experienced driver, we currently have a $2,000 sign-on bonus. And that $2,000 pays out where you'll get $500 on first dispatch. And then after, I think it's 60, a 190, and well, that's not right. 60, first dispatch, 60, 90, and 180. That's it. So 60 days, 90 days, and 180 days. You'll get $500 installments on each one of those. So there's 4 $500 installments for that $2,000 sign-on bonus, which is nice because then you don't get hit as hard with taxes during each of those payments, right? Yeah. Okay. Along with, so I'm just going to back up just a second here for orientation. I mentioned that it's a 3-day orientation for experienced drivers. Before you come to orientation, you do need to make sure that you have completed your physical as well as your urinalysis drug test, the DOT drug test. We will set that up for you. If you have a current physical that's good for at least another 6 months, that probably will work as long as it's no more than 6 months old. So we can, is that right? Yeah, it's good for, well, it was good for at least 6 months and you've had it for at least 6 months. So as long as you've got a valid medical certificate, there we go, then we should be able to use that. You'll just need to show it to your recruiter so that they can get that approved. You'll need to send them the full long form in order for it to be approved because we'll need that on record. And then of course the drug test, we'll schedule that whether you have your physical already or not. We'll schedule that urinalysis ahead of time. We also do a hair follicle test once you arrive in Fort Dodge. We don't do the hair follicle ahead of time, but we'll do that once you arrive here. And then we also ahead of time, we have you complete a number of video, like it's an online course, an online orientation course. So it's a number of videos followed by some questions and then another video questions in order to speed up the orientation process for you. Because when you're here, there's a lot of information that you go through. And it's nice to kind of have that heads up so that when you go through the online orientation, you'll be able to retain a lot of other information in person. And granted, you're not going to be able to retain all of it. We totally get that. We understand. We will be providing you support along the way. We have not only your training department, not only your recruiter. I mean, you've got your driver manager, but you also have an ambassador who will be there to help answer questions, not necessarily hold your hand along the way, but if you need that support, they're there. If you need information on, okay, now, so what do I do with the benefits? Like, where do I put this? Where do I fill this out? OS&D, what do I do there? Who do I call for a fuel route? Those are things that your ART ambassador or your ambassador can answer for you. And they're really just this support so that you know that you've got someone that you can reach out to if you feel like your driver manager is busy with other things and you have a question. Reach out to us. That's what we're here for, and you'll get a call from them when you come aboard. So Sharon, is that right? How are you? Thanks for joining us today. So Sharon is asking about, let's see, 288. Now that looks like you're up north. I do have Home Weekly in the refrigerated division, and I also have our over the road. Nope, I lied to you. I'm sorry. We have Home Weekly in the flatbed division as well as over the road in the flatbed division. So can't come straight into Lisa, and I drive for Schuster. Are you in North Carolina? So, Sharon, that's correct. Give me 1 second. You're right. For those of you wondering about our lease purchase program, yes, we do have a lease purchase program. There are restrictions to that. However, um, one, you have to earn the opportunity to do lease purchase. This is a time, this isn't 2020 or 2021 where freight rates were way up there, right? No, this is a little bit different. And so if you have not had success with a lease purchase program before, I caution you with lease purchase. I don't care where you're at, I just caution you with it. Yes, we have it available, and yes, you've definitely seen that we've had successful drivers through that who've gone from lease purchase to now, of course, owner operators because they purchased the trucks. And we, and that's fantastic, but it is something that you want to earn so that you know that you'll have the success for yourself. Anyways, to answer your question, Sharon, you're right. It's at least 6 months here as a company driver before moving over into the lease purchase option. And there's currently not a down payment. I do believe that we are revamping the lease purchase program, adjusting that. I don't have any details on it for you on what could be happening, and it could stay the same but as of right now, we are kind of evaluating it to see if there are changes need to be made for you or not. That said, in addition to that, Sharon, North Carolina is actually an area we can offer lease purchase out of there, but it is a state that's going to require a work comp or something equivalent to that. And that is quite expensive. So just have a heads up on that. There are some states that we can't offer lease purchase in. North Carolina is one that we can. It's just one of those states that requires that additional policy. I don't know if you knew that or not. Last I looked, which is probably about a year or two ago, honestly, but last I looked, it was at least an additional $7,000 for that policy, which could very well be worth it. But again, those are numbers that you want to evaluate and compare as a lease purchase with those expenses versus a company driver to make sure that you're coming out ahead. Because obviously this is a situation we want you to win, not struggle. So, yeah. Dean, how are you, man? Lamar's 60 and sunny, not windy. I don't know if you said not windy because you can hear my window howling as the light's coming in. It's absolutely beautiful fall day, but those gorgeous orange and yellow and bright fall colors, the leaves that are on the trees, yeah, they're not on the trees anymore. Not most of them. As I look out my window, I'm like, oh my goodness. If I'm going to whine, we've had beautiful weather. And so we've been able to look at those trees and just admire them. And now that the wind has picked back up to, which is honestly normal around here, now they're all going away. So I'm going to pout. But it's beautiful. One thing I would say to the wind and the piles of leaves that are out there is when you guys are going around corners, whether you're in town or you're out on the road, please be cautious. If you can avoid a pile of leaves, especially around, you notice those are usually around curbs and corners, and if you can avoid those, please do, because you never know what's underneath those. A lot of times, extra branches, logs, all kinds of things can be hidden underneath those piles. And this time of year, it's like when snow comes, you don't know what's underneath. And so if given the opportunity to avoid it, please do, to protect yourself, your truck, their tires, all that stuff. Yeah. Sharon says, and I heard, answer that question. I thought I missed it. But yeah, and it is definitely fall, which some areas have already received snow, a lot of snow. Some of us haven't yet, but an hour away, they've already had a foot or two this fall. So just be be aware, be prepared in more than anything. Make sure those bunk heaters are working properly because you don't want to get caught in the cold without those working. Our shops, they're fantastic. Maintenance support, phenomenal. They're there to help you out. They can help troubleshoot you if you were out on the road, if they need to get you in and get you scheduled for any of those repairs, whether it be an APU or a bunk heater or whatever, they can, of course, help make that happen. So, Sharon says, I have refrigerated experience. Sharon, if you have at least a year of a year of tractor trailer experience with the refrigerated, then you would be fine experience-wise to come aboard to Decker without having to go out with a trainer or of course, meet all those requirements for flatbed. You will have to go through the securement training in Fort Dodge following orientation, but you wouldn't have to go out with a trainer. And yeah, you would need that minimum experience requirement in order for that position, since flatbed is the only thing that I have out of your area. Let me double check one more time, make sure that, yeah, flatbed. And like I said, we have home weekly as an option. We also have every other weekend. So whether you're looking at home weekly or you're looking at home weekly or every other weekend, yeah, then you're still, because it's flatbed, you're probably coming home on a Friday night or a Saturday morning and then leaving back out either Sunday night or Monday morning. That's usually the rotation. Yeah. Respect to Cyan, is that right? Says, I love Decker so far. Well, I love that. I'm using my emoji. Yeah. I don't know how many emojis I can do on those, but that's awesome. I love it. Thank you for sharing that. Thank you. So yeah, if you have more questions about that, feel free to ask, but we do have some availability in North Carolina in the refrigerated. It just happens that you're in an area that we only have flatbed there right now. That said, it doesn't mean that down the road we won't have changes, because like I said, we do adjust our hiring area based off of availability. Chaffee Steam says 2 more weeks before I start with Decker. Phenomenal. Awesome. Coming on at a good time, getting everything ready before Christmas. Oh, speaking of, I should have done this ahead of time. I feel bad that I didn't. I've got to highlight some of these pictures that have been coming in, you guys. We have had some beautiful pictures submitted to us for our calendar. We're working on the calendar for the next year, and we have, I'm just going to show you guys a few because they are gorgeous. Jesse Carter sent some over to me this morning, and not just Jesse, because there were John Leisure, a couple of you guys posted some gorgeous pictures, so I want to share some of them with you. But if you can get some of those beautiful pictures and you want to share them, we'll take them. We want to see them too. So here you go. That's John's. I think that's Cedric's picture there. And some of these might be a little bit big for, that's also John's. Isn't that gorgeous? Look at the colors. I tell you what, those look like they're going to be in the running. I like this picture coming out of the shop and everything. Jeff always gets some good pics, but I just grabbed this one. This is Jesse Carter's this morning. They're showing it off and bragging. It was worth it. Yeah. And this is another one that he had today. Isn't that gorgeous? That's fantastic. And I think this is also John's. Cyan, if you're coming into the Montana area, reach out to me. I'm not out of the Missoula terminal. I'm out of Montana, but not in the Missoula terminal. So let me know and we'll touch base there. So yeah, cool. There's some beautiful pictures. Sharon says, what if we have our own truck? Can we pick a division? That's a good question. I want to say no, because the thing is you'd be getting a lot of deadhead way too much deadhead. If we're not hiring out of that area, it means the reason we're not hiring out of that area is because of the amount of deadhead that you would have, and it would obviously be cutting into your your profits. So we don't want you to fail. We want to make sure that you're going to succeed. Um, and there's a lot of brain power that come into the hiring area. We actually have, every time that we review a hiring area, there are 4 different directors that are coming together to review. Okay, so is this the right price point for the hiring area? Is this the amount of freight coming in, the amount of freight coming out, the number of drivers that we have out of there? Like, there's quite a bit that goes into it, and when they're choosing it, they are choosing it for success, not for ease. So, the only thing, if you left your tractor and trailer in an area like at a terminal that we know we could get you in and out of without having massive deadhead for you, that could be a different story. I don't know if that's an option, but that would be a different story. If you left, this is a big scenario for you, but running it past you. If you were looking for the refrigerated division, and that's the one that you were determined to have, you could leave your tractor and trailer in Bessemer, and then, get home, whether, I don't know what kind of Amtrak or rental car or maybe a personal vehicle or something like that. Like, you could do that. That would be more feasible. But with the truck, that, my average miles per gallon being 7, 8, some of them are more than that, but probably 7, 8. That's probably not, that wouldn't work for you right now. Right now. But like I said, freight can change. And when we have freight changes, it means that we've increased the freight contract enough, because the majority of our freight is all contract freight, but we've either increased the freight contract in your area, so that we can bring on another individual in that location without affecting home time of anybody else, and keeping that balance. That's probably a lot more of an explanation than you wanted, but it really gives you a better insight of why we choose those areas that we do, and why when we say no, we're saying no. Love to be able to help you out, but we want to make sure that it works for you in the long run. You definitely, I've been at Decker since 2010. So I started in 2010. And when I think of Decker, I don't think of Decker as like a stepping stone. Like, oh, I want to go here. When I get the experience, I'm working my way up to this company. Decker is that company. To me, Decker is that company. We are the top dogs. And actually, we have been nominated for the 3rd year in a row for the best fleets to drive for. But yeah, to me, we are one of those. So we aren't looking for somebody to come on for a month or 2 or 6 months or something like that. We're looking to take care of you long term. And yes, take care of you, not just hire you and throw you out and do your thing. Like, we're here to support you. We're here to build you up, to see you grow. And honestly, if you've talked to some of our drivers that have been here for a while, you'll see that is in fact the case. That's what they get. They get the support throughout, and that's why they stay. So, but that also said, they do a phenomenal job, and they give 100% as well. So it's quite easy to give 100% to somebody who's giving 100%. So it's a good give and take, good relationship that way with our drivers. So we continue to support. Speaking of giving, in the last year and a half, I would say, our benefits have increased. So it's something that our benefits department has been working on. It just seems like so much is taking in all around us, all across the U.S. And so I have noticed in at least the last year and a half, maybe a little bit longer, our benefits have increased with what we provide instead of pulling away. Because so often you see, oh, this goes up and you get less, and that's not the case. We are $0 generic prescription drugs and $0 brand name, and even some specialty drugs are $0. That is huge, and I cannot tell you how many drivers that I've had reach out to me and say, I love this. I am so thankful for this prescription plan. But that's not all we have. We have a great EAP program, Employee Assistance Program, that's very supportive when it comes to mental health or estate planning or divorce or custody, or it covers all kinds of aspects, and it's really, really helpful. Plus, we have the Doctor on Demand available, so we've got the teledoc services available. So it's nice when you're just needing to go to the doctor and it's not as convenient for you. So we've got those services, and we've got Regenix. There's a lot that's been added. Our 401k has been up to 50% now, 50% match. So that's gone up as well. We just love it. Hey, Mike, how are you? You need cataract surgery? Speaking of, we do have vision and dental. With the cataract surgery, I want to say 3,000 is what that. It's been a long time since I looked at that. I'll have to look that up. Dean says it's 62 now. He's given in the update. Respect says, how do I set up my benefits? Good question. So you should have received a benefits package when you were in orientation. If you didn't, then you need to call us or reach out to me on Facebook, and I can get that information over to you. But what you'll do is you will mark everything that you want on there, whether you want long-term insurance, short-term insurance, life insurance, term, like there's a ton. If you want Aflac, critical illness, if you want the 401k and how much of the 401k you want to contribute, or how much you want to contribute to your 401k. What else? There's a lot to the benefits. If you want a higher deductible or a lower deductible on the premium, those are all things that you would mark. Once you've marked those and you send them in, so you can send them into the payroll or into the benefits department here at Decker, then those are reviewed, and then you'll receive a phone call back. When you receive the phone call back, they will actually review everything that you had marked on there to confirm with you that that's what you want. They also give you a price point on how much that will cost, so you know what to expect before it kicks in. Our benefits all start after 60 days. That's another thing that we changed. So it was at 90, we bumped it to 60. Yeah, it's pretty cool. Lots of plus. Mike says, is that a copay deductible or a total cost? I think that's a total cost, but I need to check on that before I start. I need to double check on that. And Katie did put in here, log into the Employee Navigator after 30 days of hire and call our HR department for the benefits. Do you see that? So our Employee Navigator, and I had that up here because I've referred to it a dozen times since Katie sent me that link, and of course I don't have it here. Okay, I'll have to grab that for you. But yeah, there's quite a bit to choose from, so you want to make sure that you're getting. Oh, she's already put it there. Never mind, I'm a little late to the game. Thank you, Katie. Kind of nice having her right there watching, huh? Thank goodness. Thank goodness that she's looking out for us. So if you log into that Employee Navigator, that will help you to review what you have or what you're signing up for. Sign up for what you want, and yeah, that's all that good stuff. She says just click register as the new user gets started. The company identifier is Decker Truckline, and then you verify your personal and dependent information, enroll in benefits, and then of course designate beneficiaries. So cool, kind of nice. I've always heard it's 5,000 so it's probably more. For the cataract surgery, Dean, for the cataract surgery, is that what you're referring to? There's a couple of different deductibles that you can choose from, whether you're an individual, a family, a husband, wife, you and a spouse. Um, so there's different levels, and then paying a higher premium, lower deductible, or lower premium, higher deductible. There's that option as well. Mike says, I paid for my own health insurance for 30 years. I've never had medical issues. Then comes the $2,500 deductible. Yeah, that came close. Oh, that came close to the 25. Yeah, that's it happens when we get older, right? We're so lucky. Jerome says, what's the starting pay for a flatbed with 2 years of experience? Flatbed with 2 years of experience. I'm going to cheat. Give me a sec. So whether you're going OTR, so whether you're going over the road, or if it's home weekly, either one, you're looking at 61 cents a mile to start. You get a penny raise. Well, first of all, of that 61 cents a mile, 10 cents of that's per diem. So you're not taxed on 10 cents a mile. And then you'll get a penny raise after 90 days. So you'll be at 62 after 90 days. And then you'll get a penny raise. I'm getting errors. Hopefully I'm not disrupting, but it says that my connection's bad. So anyways, you'll get a penny raise after 90 days. You'll also get a penny raise annually until you hit the cap. Right now, the cap is at 70 cents a mile. All right, now that I'm saying the word cap, I have kids. How many of you have kids that say, cap? Is that cap? That is true, by the way. Cap is? Okay, whatever. That just made me think I get yelled cap all the time from them. But when I say cap, I mean that it's the top of the base pay is what I meant by that. I'm sure you figured that out. But anyways, it's 70 cents a mile is the cap. That doesn't count any of the bonuses though. So you're still available to get an additional 5 cents a mile between our monthly and our monthly scorecard and our monthly safety bonus. It's 4 cents a mile as a company driver for the scorecard, and it's a penny per mile for the safety on all the miles that you've completed. So all dispatch miles, loaded and empty, though that's what it pays out on those. So actually it could put you at 75 cents a mile eventually. But backing up to your questions, with 2 years of experience in flatbed, it starts you at 61 for the first 90 days. Okay. Dean says, for your eye surgery. Okay. Yeah, that could be, Dean. Right off the bat, I wouldn't be able to know. But if you did log into the portal, you'd be able to get an estimate. Plus, if you have a surgery that's coming up, if you've got you need a knee surgery or a shoulder surgery or something like that, and you're here at Decker and that's the insurance you have, you can call and they will do an estimate for you, and they'll work through all of that. So this is how much it's going to cost me. These are the things that I'm going to need for it. But they help you prepare for a lot of that, which is quite handy because a lot of times when you're going into the doctor and you know that you're going to need surgery, you don't know what that all entails. What is it going to be financially? How long am I going to be down? How am I going to pay that off? Things like that. Those are things that you're kind of like, what ifs? What do I do? And we have those resources available to help you through those processes because it can be a mess otherwise. What is the company identifier? The company identifier is Decker Truckline. Mike says, the small trucking company that I drove for in 2020 offered a health insurance policy that didn't cover employees while driving a car or motorcycle, etc. Driving is one of the biggest risks. Yeah, absolutely. What is our starting pay for a new CDL holder? So the starting pay for someone brand new in the industry is like a recent graduate of an approved school. When you're with a trainer, which is about 2 to 3 weeks, you're paid $700 for the week. Okay, so you get that. When you're done with training, you're at 52 cents a mile for the refrigerated division, 53 cents a mile for the flatbed division. Keep in mind, though, that if you're looking to be part of our over-the-road flatbed division that's based out of Bessemer, we actually need at least 6 months of flatbed experience or a year of tractor trailer before you would apply, before you um, qualify for that position. But for the Midwest flatbed, yes, it'd be at 53 cents a mile or 52 cents a mile for refrigerated. You'll still get a penny raise after 90 days, and then you'll get one annually as well. But that's for brand new CDL holder. That's after you have the $700 a week with a trainer, which is about 2 to 3 weeks. When you transition to solo driving and you're not training anymore, instead of that $700 that you're getting your cents per mile or the minimum pay, which again it depends on the division, but most of our divisions are $1,000 minimum for that. So it's like a safety net. You know that your miles times your rate of pay per mile, or you get your the minimum of $1,000. So that kind of gives you an idea. Mike says, I was just referring to the optician here in Portage. Yeah. If your health insurance does not cover your while driving your own personal vehicle, you have to pay a much higher premium for your car insurance. I'm assuming ours does. I didn't. That seems a bit crazy when it's trucking, right? I'll have to look. Because, and then we also have, speaking of health insurance, we also have life insurance on you. So there's at least $10,000 on you for life insurance that Decker provides, and then I think $5,000 on the spouse. But you can always up the life insurance, and I know myself, I did here because it was, pre-tax for one, and it's a lower premium than a lot of others. Yeah. Yep. I also want to mention, we talked a little bit about flatbed availability in some of those areas, like North Carolina being one of them. But we do have a position available. This is a dedicated position based out of Nashville, Arkansas, Texarkana area. That one is also that's a dedicated position. It's home weekly. It runs Dallas-Fort Worth area. It runs into Houston sometimes, Monroe, Louisiana, Shreveport, Louisiana, and back for the most part. Those are the areas that you'd be running. But it's home weekly. It's flatbed. Definitely requires at least a year of flatbed experience. And it pays, again, the rate per mile is going to be our normal rate per mile for flatbed. It's just going to be a dedicated position and a minimum of $1,000 a week at least. Mike says the company was owned by a car parts machine shop. Having health insurance that does not cover you while driving a personal vehicle is not a great deal. No. And you can get also, speaking of that, you can also get rider policies, like riders as in like extensions to your policy, not like someone's riding with me, but a rider to the insurance, life term or life term, whole life. But the riders, the extensions of the policy would cover you for things like that. But yeah, you're right. That doesn't make sense, does it? That's news to me. He says, yeah. That's not here though, Dean. Trey the J Locked Trucker says, what's the wait time for the new CDL grads to join? Trey, you can come directly to Decker as a recent graduate, as long as you, depending on where you live. So for instance, let's say you live in Iowa and you want to do flatbed, that's an option. If it's a school that's approved by us, ICC or Hawkeye, there's several schools that we do approve in Iowa. Well, across the nation actually, but Iowa, using that as an example, because we have both flatbed and refrigerated out of Iowa for recent grads. There are some locations that we don't offer recent grads flatbed experience, or let me rephrase that. We don't offer recent grads flatbed because of an experience requirement. in our over-the-road flatbed division. But our Midwest flatbed division, the one that's home weekly, or if you live in Iowa, Illinois, Indiana, southern Minnesota, areas that we do hire for Midwest flatbed, then we can train for the flatbed division for recent graduates. Now for the refrigerated division, recent graduates we can train for. Whether you're over the road or more regional, we can do. You need to come directly from the school to Decker for that to qualify. And yes, we do have a reimbursement program up to $6,000. We pay you $200 a month after you've been here for 90 days. We pay you $200 a month up to $6,000, or say the cost of school was $5,500, so up to $5,500 in that case, until that's paid off. So that is a possibility. If you have maybe 2 to 3 months of experience after you got your CDL job, or after you obtained your CDL through a school, then we're going to ask that you get a full 6 months before coming aboard to us. Because same thing that I mentioned earlier, I'm not sure if you were on earlier or not, Trey, but we are most definitely looking for somebody for the long term. We're looking to take care of you, and we want to make sure that when you're coming aboard, you know what you're looking for. If you've just left a company or maybe just left 2 companies right out of the gate, we'd want you to kind of get your feet under you a little bit more before coming aboard to Decker. But if you are brand new and you come straight to Decker, we do train. It's a little different, some trucking companies can sour you for others, just like anything else. And we want you to have a great environment to start off in. Clean slate, right? Yeah. All right, you guys. Well, I appreciate you spending some time with me this afternoon or morning. It was morning for me because I'm out of Montana. It's almost afternoon. But I thank you for joining me today for our Q&A. We do this every Tuesday at noon Central, so if you want to join us next week, feel free to do so. You can always ask your questions in the chat, and I'll be responding to them throughout the week as well, if you want to keep the conversation going. Or call our recruiting department, 877-433-2537. On Mondays at 4 p.m. Central, we also go and do a live Q&A there. That is more, a lot of that is for our current drivers, because we're talking more about what's going on here at Decker. I mean, any of you can join, but it is a little bit more personal. And we got to do birthdays and anniversaries, you got to do that. Trey says, okay, great. Thanks for answering. What's the home time for recent grads with no experience on the regional side? Well, it is completely based off of what's available out of your area. So once you're done with training, so you went with a trainer for 3 weeks, okay? So let's draw this out so you can see like the full picture. Orientation for a brand new student, someone just graduated, it's going to be a week long. Instead of 3 days, you've got a full week of orientation. If you go into flatbed, you're going to have additional time for securement training, tarping and securement training. If you're going into refrigerated, you'll go directly with a trainer. So you'll either have securement right away or you'll go with a trainer right away. A week long of orientation, 2 to 3 weeks with a trainer. Orientation is $500. 2 to 3 weeks with a trainer is $700 per week. And then you're running solo once you're done with the training, and you're paid 52 cents a mile for refrigerated, 53 cents a mile for flatbed right out of the gate. What was your question though? Home time. Sorry. Depending on what we have available in your area, you can go to the weekly home time for flatbed, weekly home time for refrigerated. Refrigerated is a little bit different than flatbed though. Like flatbed, you're usually coming home on a Friday night or a Saturday morning and then back out either Sunday night or Monday morning. Where refrigerated, you can come in on a Monday or a Tuesday. It's usually 7 days out at a time and then home for 2 days. We do have one division that runs 5 days out and then home for 2 days. But it's, so you can expect shorter runs on that one, honestly, because you just, with the reefer freight, it doesn't get you out very far. Okay, so it's a little different than flatbed. But that being said, for home time, it is completely based off of where you live on what's available. So the only exception to because you're a recent graduate, the only exception to your home time would be if you are looking for that Nashville, Arkansas area. That one has to be at least a year of flatbed tractor trailer experience, at least for that position. Otherwise, you've got home time options. Does that make sense? In my mind, that circle made sense. But yeah, it doesn't limit you really. Mike says the trucking companies that are self-assured get a huge subsidies by the federal government to run their driver training program. That's why the big companies hire inexperienced drivers. They can. Yep, they can. But they also have additional insurances, expense as well. So there's another. It's sometimes it's got to even out for them. Trey says reefer. Yes, that makes sense. Okay, score. Yeah. So with refrigerated, you'd be fine. Did you give me a location? Where do you live, Trey? If you gave me a location, I apologize that I forgot. But throw your zip code in there. Let me tell you what we've got available, and then you could know. Do you have weekly? Do you have? What am I looking at? Flatbed is touch and tarping. Yes. Refrigerated is no touch freight. The only touch that we have is if it's a team position, and those are bread loads where you're rolling the carts on or rolling the carts off and rolling empties back on. But other than that, we are no touch freight. The flatbed, yes, you're tarping and securing loads, like basically every load. Yeah. North Carolina. So Trey, some areas of North Carolina I can hire for and some I can't. In the North Carolina area, you are looking at, and I'm double checking on my map here, but you are looking at 11 days out and 3 days home. That's the type of home time that I have available. We also have 3 weeks out and then home for 3 to 4 days. That's another option. But I wouldn't be able to get you the home weekly in North Carolina. Like I said, though, not all of North Carolina is within our hiring area. If you took, is that 95? I-95, everything west of I-95 in North Carolina is, in North Carolina, is in our refrigerated hiring area. But it's out 11 days at a time. If it's east of 95, you're outside of our hiring area for refrigerated. Yes, that's true. That's true. But there's usually, so Mike, with the self-insured, some of them are self-insured on one aspect, but not on another. That's why I said that. Is that 3 full days? 3 full days of home time, or 3 when it comes to orientation? Excuse me. If you're talking orientation, yeah, definitely 3 days of orientation. If you're talking home time, which I think is what you're asking, yes, 3 full days of home time. So a day and a half for every 7 days you're out, which would put you at about, so if you're doing 11 days out, then yes, 3 full days of home time. Yep. Good question. All right, so the number again, 877-433-2537 to talk to a recruiter and get some details from them. All right, thank you again, you guys, for joining me today. Hope you have an awesome rest of your day, and we'll talk to you next week or before. You're welcome.